host, Reginald Easy Ward. That was a strong welcome to you. This is your host, Reginald Easy Ward, man. Once again, thank you all for the support. I'm extremely excited. This episode right here, man, I'm not even going intro, try to segue. Today's episode is titled Creating Your Vision, Turning Your Vision into Reality. And today, I have my brother, Cedric Moore. Talk to the people, man. Tell them who you are, what you do, and what you got going on right now, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? So my name is Cedric. I graduated from North Carolina A&T in 2016, Aggie Pride. Right now, I'm currently working at Lockheed Martin doing cybersecurity. I'm also pursuing my master's degree in cybersecurity at the University of Maryland. And I recently just launched my first platform, More Ambition.
So, deep diving right in. So, okay. What is More Ambition? What is it about? Okay. Where did it stem from?
Well, first, to understand what More Ambition is, you got to understand my story. All right, so I'll take it back. In May 2016, I graduated with my degree in computer science. It was a shaky time for me. I didn't really know, what was next for me. And the reason why I didn't know what was next for me was because earlier in the year, I had got a job offer to work for the government in DC, right? But I rejected the offer because I was sold on going to grad school at A&T in the next year in the fall of 2016. But things didn't work out like that for me. I ended up, so I was a 3.0 and above student in college for all 4 years. So for the first time ever, my GPA had begun to slip. And I know I'm not the one to make excuses, but we were pledging, we were online, I had a lot going on. So my GPA ends up slipping to a 2.9. For some that might not be low, but for me that's low because I've never in my life was used to having anything under a 3.0. So for the College of Engineering that I was in at North Carolina A&T, you had to have a 3.0 or above to maintain the scholarship. So with that being said, I lost my scholarship, right? So now I'm being launched into the world of the unknown. Yeah, it's pretty deep. I didn't know where I was going because, for one, I had already, rejected my job offer earlier in the year, and then now my only opportunity for grad school was gone. So, I'm graduating from school, and I'm literally out here with no direction on where I'm going next. So, fast forward a little bit. I wanted to be there bad. I wanted to, that was my thing. Grad school that's what I wanted. So I was going down to North Carolina every weekend. I won't say every weekend, but probably like every other weekend.
Yeah, just twice a month type stuff.
Yeah, twice a month type stuff. This is over the summer, like when the teachers are still putting in grades before
fall semester.
Yeah, before they release the final grades. So I'm going down there and I'm waiting outside of the professor's office. And in North Carolina from here is a long way. That's 5 hours, and I'm going down there just to check on grades. That's how lost I was, and that's how bad I wanted to be.
That's in Greensboro.
Yeah, that's just how bad I wanted it. So I'm driving down there 5 hours, and I'm getting down there, and I would get down there sometimes just for the professors not to even show up that day. And I'm like, dang, I came all the way down and nobody, nobody's here to talk to me. And I remember driving back home, like, man, what's going on? Like, they're not responding to my emails. They're not in their office, to talk to me if I could get some grades changed. At this point, I'm just trying to finesse, right? So, in the whole process of trying to finesse the situation, I got an email back from the scholarship people at the school, and they were saying, you lost your, the deadline is passed, we gave your scholarship away. So I'm like, dang, it's not even no point in me even trying to. So
that's the first thing. So
yeah.
So the first thing is your GPA slips.
Yeah. And
then from there, you're trying to figure out, what's your grade gonna be.
Right.
And then they're not even showing up.
Right.
So that's like, so those are the first two things. So
right.
Keep going.
Right. So they sent me an email. They say the scholarship is no longer available. And at this point, it's solidified. I'm like, all right, there's like that route is over. And this is the summertime, and at this point, like I said before, I have no direction, so I'm just chilling. It hasn't really hit me yet. It doesn't hit me until fall, when everybody starts to go back to school and everything.
And this is fall 2016.
This is fall 2016, so this is like August, September time frame. All my friends are going back to school. Y'all, my line brothers, y'all are going back. You know, I have other friends who are just starting grad school, and that's where I'm thinking I should be. So it's starting to set in. It's like, dang, I'm really out here with nothing to do. Like, I don't have a job. I don't have.
That's what my dad calls clucking around, when you just got nothing to do. like, that's what he calls it. He calls it just clucking around. Like, you just clucking, you know, just going about life.
Right.
Like living living that lifestyle. You know, sleeping late, getting up, you know, like just
that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm getting up at like 2 p.m. Like, that's bad.
Yeah, that is.
That's
you were too old for that.
Yeah, I was way too old for that, right? So that's when it started to hit me. I'm like, okay, so I got to do something. Right? So at that point, I started to apply to all the local jobs. I forgot I hopped on like Glassdoor or something like that, and whatever the
other platforms and sites were. Yeah.
Right. So I'm just shooting my resume out there, but the whole thing that was kind of like bad for me was, you know, my GPA was to get into a computer science position or like a cybersecurity position like I had been hoping for. A lot of the companies only hired people who had 3.0s and above.
And I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah,
I'm glad you put the context
right
behind it, because a lot of people probably listening and saying, I mean, that's a 2.9. You know, I mean, that's not good, but that's not bad either. But but the fact that you put it in context and said, you know, that you got to get 3.0 to get cybersecurity, tech type of jobs.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so this whole time I'm just like, man, I don't even meet the basic requirements. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to take a chance on me, right? So that right there kind of did something to my confidence. But I didn't stop, you know, because at the time I had my parents on me. They were like, yo, what are you going to do? You just laying around the house. You need to get up and start applying for some jobs. So that's what I did. Fast forward, at this point I'm determined. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get in somewhere. So the career fair comes up at North Carolina A&T, right? Mm-hmm. This was, I forgot, I think it's in like September. So I'm like, okay, I'm applying to all these jobs locally. I'm getting pinged back a little bit. A lot of the jobs were like very low salary, but I always thought that, you know, I deserved just, you know, I just had a certain salary in my mind, so I wasn't really taking the chances on those. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to drive down there 5 hours again, and I'm going to shoot my shot. Like, this is what I'm going to do. So I get to the career fair. I'm like one of the first people there. I'm early.
That's that true dedication.
Yeah.
You were dedicated to get that job.
I was dedicated to get that job. I'm one of the first people there. I got probably about 30 or 40 resumes printed out, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pass it around until somebody gives me a yes. So long story short, I stay there to the end of the career fair. I probably landed about 8 or 9 interviews. So out of all of those interviews, nobody took a chance on me. And I was like, yo, like, this can't be real. Like, nobody took a chance on me. It was so bad to the point where I was sending interviews and getting turned down mid-interview. Have you ever got turned down in the middle of an interview?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's like it's the most irritating feeling, because it's like, now, you gonna sit up here and waste my time, and waste your time, and then tell me that I ain't get the job. Man, if you don't get a problem, if you don't let me go, like, you know, like, I'm trying to go home. Right. Things to do, but
So yeah, I was getting turned down midway through the interviews. Like, they would look at it, and the requirement was a 3.8. There it is with my 2.97. I'm like, come on, man. They're like, you know what, sir, we gotta hand you this resume back. You don't meet the requirements. That happened to me one time. Then the other people, you know, just didn't want to take a chance on me. And it got to the point so bad where I began to put my trust in the people. I'm gonna break this down a little bit. And this is where God kind of like took me back a little bit, right? This is when I like had my coming to God moment. So I had met a bruh, you know, we just got the network, right? The Q.
A bruh is a Q for people who are not Q.
Yeah, so I met a bruh there. I forgot the company you work for. But he was like, yeah, you know what, dog, I'm gonna fly you in. I got your resume, like, I got you.
You gonna have me hot in the show.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I know firsthand.
I know you know, yeah.
Especially in this season, I mean, people telling you, yeah, you know, hey, man, you email me and you email this person, you know, I got you. I got your teammate. I got you, man. You don't got nothing. But no, you're not here for that.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna fly you in. I got you. Took his contact down. Gave me his phone number. I'm texting him. You know what I'm saying? Conversation's really good. He's like, yeah, I just gave your resume to the hiring manager. I'm gonna see what I could do for you. So I get back home. I'm driving back home to Maryland. I had got rejected in the other interviews, And so later that week, I'm just sitting there on my phone, just waiting for a phone call. Because I'm expecting somebody to call me back and say, you know, we want to interview you. So somebody from the company calls my phone. I'm like, oh, like, this is it. Like, this is, like, he said he was going to fly me in, and he's really flying me in this position, right? I picked up the phone, and they're like, you know what, sorry. Like, we can't, there's nothing we could do for you. And at that point, I was just like, man, like, this can't be real. Like, this cannot be real. And at this point, this is when I realized that God was, like, telling me, you're trying to do this your way. You're trying to put your trust in people. You're trying to put your trust in man. Don't do that.
Instead of putting your trust in me.
Exactly. And I feel like that was God pretty much making me take a step back to realize that he was in control of the whole situation. So now I'm literally at rock bottom. I have no options. The people who said that they could, you know, they could pull some strings for me couldn't do it.
See, let's put this in context. Yeah. This is the moment when, like, you literally feel like there's no hope.
No hope.
You're in that season of just sitting back, and you, I mean, and everybody around you is taking off and I mean, and doing great things, and you're kind of like, God, you know, you said you never leave me. You said you never forsake me, but right now I'm lost. You know, like what's going on? And I think it's so crazy because, like, when you're in that season, like, sometimes it feels like it's no end.
No end.
Like
that ain't the truth. I don't know what it is.
Like, it just feels like there's no end, and like. And you're trying to motivate yourself, but you just find yourself just slipping back in, you know, and everybody's telling you it's about your perspective, which I agree it is, but sometimes in the moments, like,
it's very hard to kind of see that perspective that everybody's telling you to have when you're actually in that moment. It's very hard.
Yeah, I mean, and then but then on the flip side, you can't sulk in your sorrow.
And that's my next point.
So, my bad.
No, that was actually good. I like how you kind of like introduced the topic. But that's my next point. So, one thing my parents were big on like keeping me encouraged in that whole time, right? So I remember, like I told you, at this point I'm at rock bottom. I remember talking to my dad about it. He was like, you know what, you're down right now. You know, but you need to get back up again. We get hit, you know, we get knocked down 7 to get up 8. You know, so I was like, okay, I gotta, you know, I'm gonna have this little time to myself where I'm sad, where I'm depressed. Like, that's just what it's gonna be for this day or 2 days. But it's like, it gets to a point where you have to stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. So that was the attitude that I had, and from there, my perspective began to change. My perspective began to change like a complete 180. So
though your circumstances hadn't changed,
they hadn't,
but your perspective had changed.
Yes.
And that's what I could go on with this, and that's what changed everything around you. But keep going. It's not my story.
Like, but literally, so that's what changed for me. Just hearing my dad say that, you know, we get knocked down 7 to get back 8. I mean, get back up 8. That's what did it for me. And my mom, I just remember her praying over me, you know. And I had a book. I forgot the name of it.
31 Declarations. You
said
it to me.
That's what it was. Yeah,
I remember
by Joel Osteen, right?
Yep.
And I forgot the message of the day, but the message of the day at the time, like, directly talked about like something like where you will live in victory, like you just won't be in this state forever. And that's when I kind of got into the Word for the first time ever. Like, I could always pray, you know, so I always went to church, you know, I always believed in God, but for me, that was the first time I actually experienced the power of the Word in my life. So it was Romans 8:18 that talked about your present circumstances can't compare to the joy that's coming. So I began to speak that over my life. I'm talking about 100 times a day. Like, I was just speaking that over my life, and then, you know, lo and behold, it was kind of like a supernatural blessing. Like, it came out of nowhere. So I left this out. I had went to a career fair, like a local career fair in Virginia, you know, and I'm just in there again, just shooting my shot, like I was so used to doing for about 2 months now. And you know, the people they hit me back with an email. Like, I don't even remember going through a couple rounds of interviews. I probably had one interview over the phone. It was cool. I thought I did okay, you know. I was just used to it. Like, I was just used to like interviewing and getting turned down, right? So I looked at my email and they were like, congratulations, you got the job offer. And here's another thing that was so crazy. You know, I told you I had like a set salary in my head.
This is good. This is good. This is good. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is good. This is good. This is good.
Yeah, so I had like a set salary in my head, right? And I remember talking to my parents, and and they were like, you know, you probably shouldn't aim that high right now.
Limitations, folks.
Yeah.
Don't let the limitations of somebody else hinder you from what you want to do. The limitations, don't do it. But keep it going.
Yeah, so I remember just telling my parents, I was like, yeah, I think I deserve this. My friends are making this, and other people in the field, you know, we have the same qualifications. They're making this. But my parents were like, you know, you probably just shouldn't shoot your shot that high right now. They were pretty much telling me that so I wouldn't get my hopes up, you know, from their point of view. But for me, I'm like, man, I got dream. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I think it could happen for me, right? So anyway, long story short, I looked at the offer letter they sent me, and like the salary had exceeded anything that I even thought I deserved, you know, at that point in time, which was like pretty powerful. And yeah, that was pretty much my moment where I realized that, you know, just really speaking over my life the way that I was in the time, and really just putting my trust in God from the point coming from where everything that I came through. And then putting it in man, like putting my trust in man, what man can do. And then he showed me like, okay, this is what I can do if you just trust in me. So
okay, so that you just gave us about, I don't know, a lot of stuff to cover. So
yeah.
so you get the job.
Yeah.
You get the salary that you want.
Right.
It exceeds. Well, actually, you get the salary that you want, but it still exceeds what you're thinking, right?
Right.
So you're now in corporate America.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
And so that's where more ambition stemmed from, right? So I remember going through that time in that post-grad depression phase, and I was like, God, you bring me through this, I'm going to tell everybody. Like, I'm going to tell everybody about this, right? So for me, that's what stemmed more ambition. I was like, okay, I got a story to tell. And the point that, the thing that really motivated me to tell my story through post-grad depression and how I got into my job and how I even excelled in my career was I had other friends who were going through the exact same thing. You know, I had friends who were graduating with no jobs, and I would see them depressed. I would see them down and out the same way that I was. And I was like, I got a story to tell. I got to tell them. I got to uplift these people on the things that I went through, because I wanted to open up the floor for people to realize that they weren't alone. So that's where more ambition that stemmed from. And then once I got into my career, everything that I was learning, like the power of mentorship, not putting limitations on yourself, how to network and brand yourself, everything that I learned in my 2 years of working, once I got my foot in the door, kind of helped drive the direction for what I wanted to talk about on my platform.
So now that you gave us the context, you know, I said the title of this episode is Creating Your Vision into Reality. So I want to walk our listeners and viewers through some practical steps that me and you both took to create our vision into reality.
Okay.
So first thing that I think that really has to happen if you want to create your vision into reality is you have to really be in tune with God.
You have to.
And when I say in tune with God and spend time with God, I think people sometimes, especially people our age, they ask questions like, what does that mean? Like, what exactly does that mean? So I'll give you an example. What that means, to me at least, is this. Trying to go to church actively, but it's not about just church, outside of church. So like watching things that feed your spirit and feed your soul. And then getting into the Word. Getting into the Word on the Bible app, it's the easiest way to get into the Word. So you can find plans that literally touch on anything that you want to go into.
Type it in the search bar.
Yes.
However you feeling, that's my advice. If you on the Bible app, literally just you sign up with an account and just type in the search bar anything that you feeling. If you like depressed or anxious, anything, just type it in.
Yeah, I mean, or you want to read something about love, relationships. Yeah. Or anxiety, depression, like said, purpose. You know, any of those wide range topics. You know, you can find those. But so once you begin to do that, then you have to pay attention to your surroundings. So one thing about this platform is like anybody who knows me knows like this platform didn't come from like my idea. Like so, like one day I'm gonna tell a story. So one day I was at dinner with one of my good friends.
Right.
And he said, you know, Easy, you know, you should start a podcast.
And that came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, like nowhere. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? I don't even listen to podcasts myself. What you mean I'm gonna start one? Man, so I brushed it off.
Right.
So about 2 weeks later, he said the same thing. So that second time I prayed, I said, Lord, you know, if I'm missing something, you know, like have somebody else say it one more time. So then one day I'm texting one of my friends, and she says, you know, you're very encouraging. Start a podcast. So I'm like, whoa, God.
That was that confirmation.
God, you're up to something. Yeah. But if I hadn't been in tune
to know what that was,
yes, to know what that was, that would have went,
right.
That would have went over my head.
Right.
So when I say spend time with the Lord and spend time with God, that's exactly what I mean. Because in those moments, and like you have to do it by yourself. Like you really have to be alone. Gotcha. Spend time alone. I mean, go in your room, go in whatever your quiet place is. Go to that place, and when you're in that place, that's when I believe that things will begin to manifest and change in your life. But then from there, you know, I even had something else. Don't succumb to the doubt.
Right.
Talk about that. Like, and what I mean by doubt is like, if you that voice in your head that's saying, nah, don't do that. Anybody listen to your story?
Right.
Nobody want to hear that story.
Well, that stems. Well, first you have to realize what that is, right? And for someone who might not be in the Word, they might think like okay, that's my mind telling me that I can't do it. Like that's really me. Like I can't do that. I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna come of this. I don't know how people are gonna judge me if I do this. You know. But for those who are in the Word, you know that that's the enemy. Right, so the one way that I overcome that is by constant prayer, constant staying in the Word, like literally just watching sermons like me and you, how we just bounce sermons off each other all the time.
Every single day.
Yeah, and those right there, they speak to me.
Every single day.
Yeah,
I mean, and what those would do, I'm about to cut you off, but those really speak to your spirit, and then they give you that encouragement that you need to keep on fighting. Like a prime example, like me and Ced literally watch TD Jakes and like Mike Todd every other day, literally every single day,
all the time.
And those two pastors speak like exactly to where we are, and it's just so crazy because like we was talking about it today. You know, I mean, it's sometimes crazy because like when you're really trying to seek God, you know, like he'll just send random signs, like kind of like I mean, in the first episode, when Keon said you would be somewhere and they'd be like walking your purpose, like that's exactly how this game of faith is.
Can I give you an example of that?
Go ahead.
Actually, two. So I'm at work one time. It was a couple months ago, and this is a janitor. And at the time, we never really spoke or anything like that. But he just came up to me one day and was like, you know, and he's dumping trash, just minding his business. I'm minding mine. He just looks at me. He just says, you know, you're gonna do some great things one day. And I'm just looking at him, and he's looking at me. And then he just starts talking about how he has like some sort of prophetic gift and how he could pray on things and God will show him things. And I was like, whoa, like that's kind of weird. Like I don't know you. You don't even know what. You don't know who I am, you know. You don't know anything about me. And then another thing. Recently, we were at I forgot the holiday. It might have been July 4th. We were at a cookout, and I'm just chilling on my phone, you know, just minding my business. And a friend of mine comes up to me. He was like, you have the power to like influence people. You're gonna do some really great things. You just don't know it. And that's kind of how that attests to the point that you said, where you can be minding your business. And like God will talk to people. God will talk through people to you.
Yes. So yeah. But then so you know, I just gave my little 2 cents on creating vision to reality.
Right.
What's some things that you want to tell people about creating vision to reality? Like, what's some things that you feel like are good tips to really?
Great question. So I tried this for the first time ever in 2018. I created a vision board. You know, and I was never really the type of guy to do those type of things. You know, probably I just thought it was corny. I don't know. That just wasn't me. But you know, this was the first year. I was like, okay, let me create something that I could see every day. You know, and at the time I didn't even know what I really wanted to put up there on it, but I just kind of prayed on it in the weeks leading up to it. And so I had things up there regarding where I wanted, like where I saw my career being in the next 5 years, or the performance that I wanted at school, I put my started my platform on there, and I remember in big words I put on the vision board, execute. So I always had a problem in the past with not, you know, going all the way through with things that I set forth for myself. So I was like, okay, let me put this vision board up here on this wall with the words execute on it. And so for the first time, I actually was reminded daily, day in and day out, okay, you need to prioritize your steps so that you can accomplish this goal, so that you can ultimately accomplish what's on this board. So that's the first step I give people. You wanna, even if you don't do a vision board, list it out and put it somewhere where you can see it.
Rebecca too says, write your vision, yeah, and make it plain.
Right. Yep. And
my bad, I mispronounced that. Don't crucify me. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the first step I give people, right? And then another step, and I know that we probably gonna deep dive good into this one. Once you get that vision, you know, you seeing it and you got it in your heart. You gotta keep it to yourself in the early stages. You gotta protect that thing. And I know you got something that you want to say.
I do.
Yeah.
So once again now, for any of y'all that's been tuning in these first few times,
yeah,
I gotta tell you this one distinct story that I have of literally protecting my vision, but actually telling my vision too early, and somebody saying, "What do you think you're gonna do?"
Man, ain't that the worst?
So it was my sophomore year, and after I finished playing football, I told my dad, I said, "Yeah, you know, I'm gonna run for SGA president. You know, I want to be student body president at my university." And he said to me, he said, "You think you can do that?" What you mean? What you mean you can do that? And I said, "Yeah, I can do that. What you mean?" but at that time, he saw me where I was.
Right.
He didn't see what I was growing into,
right,
and what I was going to become over those next 2 years.
Yeah.
Now, long story short, even though I didn't win SGA president, you know, I still went through with that vision,
right,
and still ran. I mean, and I think I ran a pretty good campaign. You know, I mean, it didn't work out, but you know, God had other plans, and I became senior class president.
Right.
But still, like, I mean, in that beginning stage, he was like, "What you mean you gonna do that?"
Yeah.
You know, like what you like?
He didn't see how you saw it.
Yeah, he didn't see how I saw it, and I mean, and even with this platform, when I first got the concept and the idea of how I was gonna do it, you know, I didn't tell anybody.
Right.
I told literally you, Mary, Chase. That's it.
Yeah, and that's the same with me.
I kept that thing tight.
Yeah.
Because if you have any negative energy towards your vision, I mean, that thing will really, I mean, that can plague it. I mean, and it'd be to the point where like you don't even want to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're nervous. You know, and you're thinking about what's this person gonna say? What's this person gonna say? So.
And I'll tell you a little story, and you were there. I learned my lesson quick. I learned my lesson quick. I'm telling my friends, it's probably like 7 of us. You know, we going around the room talking about like the goals that we had, and I slipped up. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start a blog or something. At the time, I really didn't understand how I was gonna do it myself, and it was like at the extreme infant stages. And one of my bros, he just got the snicker, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. But he was snickering like I remember because he was snickering like man, a blog.
Yeah.
Okay, what you mean a blog?
Right.
Boy, get out of here.
Right. And even though he might not have meant any harm by it, it's the fact that if for somebody who isn't like too sold or too firm in something that they want to do, that can throw the whole play off.
Yeah, I mean, so that goes into the power of good friends and the power of your circle.
Let's get into it.
So one of the things that like my circle,
this is gonna be real.
I mean, my circle, I just to name a few, like, you know, Chase, Ced, Keon, and Mary. You know, I mean, this just name a few. Anybody else, Marlon, James, like anybody that I forget, I'm sorry, but yeah, like just to keep it at the top of my head.
Right.
One thing about the circle is that you have to have people around you who support, who show love, and who are genuine.
Right.
Me and Chase talk about this all the time. Love is the foundation of everything. If you don't show love, I cannot be your friend. You need to show love. If you don't show love, I would. If you don't show love, we cannot be friends. You heard that here live. Love is the foundation. Nah, I mean, and I say that jokingly, but I'm dead serious. Like
sure.
one thing about on my circle is that everybody shows love. Meaning, this is what I'm about showing love. People give honest answers, support you, and then also pull you up on your down.
Right. Yeah.
If you got a friend or a so-called friend who kicks you when you at rock bottom,
yeah, that's no friend.
That's no friend. There's
friend.
nothing. So I mean, you can talk about the power of your circle too. So.
All right. So yeah, for me, when it came to my visions, my circle was very influential. And so, similar to you, how you only had a handful of people who knew what you were doing. Same thing with me. I count on one hand how many people actually knew like the things that I was cooking up or thinking about. I didn't even tell my family. You know what I'm saying? And it was still like a lot of close friends who I just didn't tell. And it wasn't that, you know, there was any bad blood towards them or anything. It was just that I had to protect the vision that I saw, and I only needed people who were going to speak life into that thing around me. And so my circle became influential because I had friends who held me accountable. And that's the one thing that I want to touch on for anybody with a vision. And if you're going to tell somebody, tell some people who for one are going to support you, and then for people who are going to hold you accountable to make sure you accomplish that. Like with you and Diamond, you know, you guys we were on each other about both of our platforms for the longest. Like, you know, did you do this today? Did you reach out to this person today? Like, did you set out these steps? You know, and
Diamond needs a big shout out because without her, a lot of this stuff would not have happened. Yeah. Diamond stayed on us day in and day out. I mean, she still does. Like every to this day. Easy, did you do this?
Oh, she's gonna be so pissed when she hears this.
Cedric, did you reach out to this person? Man. I mean, but with all seriousness, we love that because what that does.
That was what we needed.
Yes, it is, man.
We wouldn't be here right today. We probably would be here like another year from now, or 6 months from now.
Yes, I mean, because we would have been nervous and like whenever like throughout 2018, I mean, even me and you, like every day, you know, like it'd be days you're like, bro, we just gotta keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, and you need that friend who's in your corner, who's gonna tell you like, man, like even, I mean, it's gonna be days like I'm not gonna sit up here in front or live. It's gonna be days when you're gonna feel like you can't go through with your vision. It's too hard. Man, like I want to throw in the towel, but you need that friend who like who can somewhat see, because I mean even some of your closest friends may not still be able to see it all the way, but they support it from a genuine standpoint.
That's the thing. That's very important. That's very important. And just like with you and I might not understand your vision how you do, or you might not understand my vision how I do, but the fact that you believe in it enough to like just speak life in the simplest terms, like I believe you can do that. Like I can see you doing that. You may not understand, but the fact that you're supporting
and speaking life into it,
like that goes a long way with me, and I know the same thing for you.
It does.
Yeah.
So I mean, and even like, you know, even I could take it a step deeper. Like we like celebrating our friends' victories, small, big, medium. I mean, like that's one thing we always do. Yes. Like I mean, even like. If I get a text message from somebody saying, yeah, you know, I got the job, like I honestly, genuinely in my heart feel like I won the day. Yeah. Like I mean,
it makes your day.
I mean, like it has no residual effect on me, like no financial effect on me, but like because my friend is happy and excited they won. Like today, like my friend just told me like, yeah, I got signed to modeling agency. I'm like. We out here making moves, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't no model, you know, like, you know what I mean? And that's not my thing, but I'm happy for him, you know? I mean, and that's what it's about, man. Like, celebrate your friends' accomplishments, big, small, whatever. I mean, because you don't understand what that motivation can do to their spirit and how it can really make them want to just keep on going, you know, and keep on pursuing that thing that God has given them, you know? So to touch a little bit deeper, how do you feel about, you know, like celebrating your friends? I mean, and the power of influence. Mainly the power of influence. Like, in terms of just stepping out on these platforms and reliving your story. Like, how do you feel about the power of influence?
I feel that it's very powerful. One thing that I had to get comfortable with, I knew that if I was going to be blessed with the power of influence, I had to let go of my pride in a sense and just be vulnerable. You know. I feel like whenever God blesses you with stature to do something or to share something, you have to be vulnerable. You have to expose that side to people so that they could understand where you're coming from, so that they could know that he's not above me, he's just like me. I'm not alone. Everything that he's going through, I mean, everything that he went through, I'm going through right now. So like, I can understand this. It makes me feel a little bit better. So that's how I feel about influence. I think that once you get it, you have to be responsible enough and understand that you got to put your pride to the side and be vulnerable in a sense.
Okay. So one of the things that I did want to touch on was just how do you, so once the vision is taken off.
Right.
No, actually, you know what? I want to backtrack. Yesterday, me listening to this podcast with Mike Todd.
Right.
And he said something that was so profound to me. He said, you don't need everything that you think you need to do what God has called you to do.
Right, yeah.
But like, at the same time, I also feel like God will grant you the resources that you need. So talk about like, you know, like the power of the team. Like your team and how influential they've been on your journey.
My team has been very influential. I've actually been blessed from a financial standpoint to be able to fund some of the things and get some of the parts that I need. But just my team, like they're great. I know from my platform, More Ambition, my content manager, like she's amazing. If it wasn't for her, like none of this, I wouldn't be able to reach my audience the way I planned on it. If it wasn't for her, then you know, you and other influential people who are constantly supporting me. So yeah.
Okay, man. So as I look through, you know, our overview, I feel like we've covered a lot. Is there anything that you want to say, or anything you want to talk about or touch on?
Yeah. One thing that I have to share with people is just to keep on going. Like we said earlier, you know, when you have a vision and there's something that you truly believe that you can accomplish, you have to keep on going. Like you're gonna have that enemy in your ear all the time, and it gets harder and harder and harder. You know, each level you progress to, so you just gotta keep on progressing. And the only way you do that, as we stated before, is to stay in the Word. You know, stay in the place of prayer. You got to be a prayer warrior, literally. Like your prayer life, your ability to pray, everything has to grow with the level that you're at. I feel like so. That's one thing that I've learned along this journey, and that's one thing I would like to share with people listening.
That's real.
Yeah.
Anything else? I know you said you wanted to ask a few questions.
I think that's about it for me.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. Today has been a great episode. I'm extremely excited for you all to hear this. And just one final thing for anybody out there, like Ced said, who has a vision or a dream, protect it, nurture it, work on it, day in, day out, grind for it. Whatever you have to do, go for it. So that's all we got for today. Game of Faith.
Game of Faith.
We out.